Oh, cool. Dragonfly. All right, let's go ahead and let's get to school. Good morning. It is May 22nd. It is 6:45 in the morning. And we are not that late for school.
But not that bad.
I hope you guys are having a good day so far.
It's an exhausting morning for me.
But let's first get Lil over to school.
Subscribe.
And then we can go from there for the day. Let's get going. And tomorrow, I'm going back to school. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll actually be fun. I'm actually going back to middle school tomorrow. So that'll be really cool. But for today, let's get going. Alright, I hope you have a great day in school. Have fun. Alright, let's go into Publix and let's go ahead and get a quick breakfast. Okay, so just another update. Today I actually do have a talking in with another company at 10:35. We'll see how that goes as well. But maybe like many teachers, I'll just get a little summer part-time job and go from there, like McDonald's or something. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Alright, let's go with a nice sausage, egg, and cheese hot pocket. Alright, we got our bananas too. And I got this girl. Alright, let's go eat breakfast and let's have some coffee at home. Let's have some good coffee. Let's eat. It looks so sad and lonely. There we go. Okay. Breakfast is over. Let's talk. Honestly, Ed Steven brought up a great point. Summer is coming. What are you gonna do? Well, there's a few things, honestly. One, Lily's gonna be out of school. So really, I can do almost anything. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to be driving around all day doing Uber Eats and DoorDash and killing my car when I'm gonna need it to get me to actual pay-in sites. You get it? That is what I don't want. Now, on the other hand, as much as I don't really care for him too much, Bill Gates actually said something intelligent. And I remember from earlier on, flipping burgers is not beneath your dignity. Your grandparents called it opportunity. And I remember that. I remember reading it back when I was younger. And truthfully, I did that. I worked at McDonald's. I worked over at Wendy's. That was the shortest thing I ever did, really. And Checkers. But the one thing that, and Captain D's, but me and the manager, we didn't get along too well. The point is, yeah, I took a lot of jobs like that when I was younger. And honestly, I didn't really like them, so back then, I was looking for a way out. And what I did was I went into college, took 4 years of a BA for finance. Then I decided, you know what? I want to be able to do management one day in a company. Went in for 2 years. Got a master's of arts in management. Came out. Went to go apply for a bank teller job and was asked, do you speak Spanish? And I said no. And basically I was asked, all right, we'll give you a call if we're interested. And I was quite disappointed, to be honest, because here I had 6 years of college, hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. And I was thinking to myself, what the heck? Keep in mind, this was 2016, 2018 time. So what I ended up doing was I ended up going over to Target after coming back from a short little trip over to St. Augustine. Brought back a hurricane at that time too. And what I did is I worked there for a couple years or so. It was a bit of fun, but then I realized I wanted something more. I wanted a potential better life. So I left Target, went over to a Ford dealership nearby, and I got hired by David Davis, who I always call Mr. Davis. And I got in car sales with him. After learning the ropes and after screwing up a bunch of times, including lot dropping a couple of people, he actually told me, you know what? For the rest of the day, you're not to take another single up. So what I did, instead of just quitting, I went to the back office, picked up the phone, and started cold calling as many people as I could to get them to come in. And I think that right there showed that instead of just quitting and giving up, that I would actually rather work hard and try another angle at something. After doing car sales there, I became my team manager, and then I also started doing the tech for the vehicles, where if somebody needed a Ford Pass activation, I would help them do it, or go into the field wherever their house was, down Port St. Lucie, up in Jacksonville, wherever, and get it done. Because at that time, Ford required that you had to have a certain number of activations and customer service satisfaction in order to get your money from Ford. If you didn't, then you didn't get your payout from Ford. That trickled to me for my bonuses as well. And I loved it. But after a while, my dealership was sold. I left. And I joined a small IT firm where basically he was doing cable installations and stuff like that before joining Dealer IT with Spectrio. Wonderful company. I loved working with Dealer IT. I loved all the people, and it was amazing. However, unfortunately, as time went on, some of the dealerships left, and then Spectrio really had no choice but to start letting us go before closing the doors on the Dealer IT Group brand. And it was quite heartbreaking, to be honest, back in January when this all happened. And I remember when I got my final couple of paychecks, I ordered some bags from DoorDash. And I said, all right, since I cannot get a legitimate, straight-up job in a workplace right now, let me go ahead and do some door dashing. Let me go ahead and try to interview for remote jobs. And that's what I did. And the one thing that I learned is that when you're delivering food, most people don't give a crap about you. Unless you're actually like going into some of the medium to lower areas where they tend to actually genuinely care more about you. And I thought that was awesome. And I met quite an amount of great people throughout that time. And I loved it. But I learned that as time went on, I needed more stability. I needed something that I knew when I woke up that day, if I went to a job, I was going to make a set amount of money. And that's what I wanted to get back into. So I got with a small IT company out of Vermont. Tried doing remote sales with them. And the problem is that with him, the base salary was going to start at like 47 or whatever and trickle its way down, whereas the amount of commission percentage was going to increase. I thought that was amazing. That was great. There's only one problem. All the new leads that were coming in were not going to me. Instead, they were going to the owner of the company, who would make the calls, collect the commission himself, and not have to pay me. So what ended up happening is that he would just give me all the dead leads from like 6 months prior. And then when a call came in, he was like, yeah, take it. It was for 00. And I was thinking in my head, okay. I called them, I qualified them. Great organization. And I thought, okay. What are their needs? Well, they needed somebody to go on site and help them with a credit card machine issue. I thought, great. Let's go ahead. Let's get this as an entry point. And then we can go ahead and progress from there and become their IT company. Yeah, they're about 2 or 3 locations, but still, they might actually need something more as they grow. Well, the owner, he saw it differently. He didn't want to deal with it because it was below a certain threshold of what he wanted. So he just tossed it away entirely. I was like, all right, whatever. And then the more leads kept coming in, he would take them and close the deals and then show off his pride at the meeting. I thought, all right, I see how this is going. I get the old dead deals that you really ticked off these people on, and you get the fresh new deals where it's going to be great and perfect for you. I'm not having to pay me. So one day he calls me up, sets an appointment on my calendar about a sync meeting and wants to go ahead and do a termination. I'm like, all right. Because I knew it was coming. But what's funny too is that about a week prior, we had a meeting and he said, look, if this doesn't work out, this sales thing, I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to transition you into the help desk role. But I just want to try you out here. So it was like dangling the carrot out in front so that way you would run the marathon longer. And I was thinking, what the heck happened with that? And then my mind flashed back to an old episode of Roseanne from the 90s where David gets a job and wanted to be an artist at this mock Disney World, but instead he gets stuffed into a character costume. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but yeah. And then Roseanne comes in and asks, well, how many others have been like this? And everybody raises their hand. Just reminded me of that. But now here we are at this point. I'm with Kelly Education. I have a job. Tomorrow I'm going to meet my requirements for obtaining work within the current time period. And I was thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to do over the summer? Well, I can go try for McDonald's or a number of things. But the one thing that I would have a really hard time with, and I considered it, is actually full-time streaming for 8 hours a day over at Disney World and the other parks of Disney. And the reason I found it hard is because I calculated it out, okay? Let me show you something. Let me pull up my calculator here. Back when I was with DLRT, my earnings a month were $4,000. Okay? Now, let's just say I would do it for the streaming of 5 days a week. All right? That's $200 that I have to make a day in order to meet that timely quota. AdSense doesn't pay that much, to be honest. You might get like a few dollars here and there from AdSense, but majority of your money would come from like memberships and e-begging of donations. And I was saying, okay, so I have a choice here. Do I go and get a legitimate job over the summer? Or do I go to the theme parks, get on a stream, and every 10 minutes remind people, hey, please go ahead and sign up for a membership? And thinking back to my grandfather, and even to my dad, and all the others from my past, and even Mr. Davis, they'd probably end up smacking me in the head and saying, get your butt into a real company and suck it up and take a summer job. That's what you should do. And honestly, it's the right and ethical thing to do. And that's why, yeah, I am going to be looking for a summer job to hold us over, to meet the amount of money that we're going to be requiring. But overall, that's the important part. And the other thing is too, let's just say I said, you know what? Forget, let's just become streamers. Let's go full time at it in the park. 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week of doing it. The other problem becomes, well, besides repetitiveness, two is, how should I put it? I guess environmental factors. So even if you want to, if let's just say it's a rainy day, it's a bad day, you're going to have bad signal quality. And that means that you're not going to be able to push your stream out good enough, which means that you're not going to get paid really. And that's the other issue too. So truthfully, yeah, I want to do streaming still of some kind. I still want to go and still create content. But I know that I have to get a regular job to pay the bills so that way I can do the passion I love. Does that make sense? When you're single and you don't have a person that relies on you or a family, it's super easy to just say, screw it. I'm going to just go on the road and wing it and just make content. But when you got a family that depends on you, your world shifts and you have to make sacrifices so that way you can do for the better good for the family. And that's the important part. Now, at 10:35 or so, I have a meeting with another company. It's going to be a remote IT position. Contract length is 4 months. Pay is like $17 an hour, but it is what it is. And honestly, the call center stuff is basically right up my alley, and they say there'll be like 30 to 40 calls per day, which is good. Keeps you busy. But let's go ahead. Let's get another cup of coffee because I need it after all. And let's get set up for success for tomorrow as well. Because really, everything that I'm doing right now is to set myself up for the future and where I want to be in a year from now. And that's the important part. The way I figure, I do a year of substitute teaching. Okay? Use that experience to put on my resume and say, yes, I was in a classroom setting, substitute teaching for a year, while obtaining my certificates for teaching. And there we go. Now when I go in front of a school principal and interview, I have credibility, classroom experience, and if I go in front of a principal who I've actually done substitute teaching for, I also have reputation built up as well. And that's the important part. It's all who you know. All right, let's get some more coffee.
Hey Liz, how are you today?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Glad that we got some time to chat here a little bit because I know it's a good opportunity here that goes quick.
So that was Jennifer from Tech Systems, and they have a client, Pearson Education or Pearson View. As you recall, they basically do all the education stuff. They do testing as well. A lot of cool stuff like that. And they also have testing centers. Downside to them is that it starts in July, which is basically in a couple months. That's the downside. The upside is it's remote, it's at home, it's temporary. The downside, $17 an hour. All right, let's get going. It's 10:55. Let's go over to Goodwill. All right, let's go in the Goodwill here in Winter Garden and see what's new. That is one awesome table. And I like that sofa too. The whole set just screams retro 90s. I love it. Nothing really. Retail price on DVD set out of Goodwill. Okay, this looks pretty darn interesting. A pizza grill? That looks pretty cool. Alright, we got an older iPad here. $17. Logitech X3D Extreme 3 Pro joystick. I remember when these were brand new. $9. It's not bad. Holy moly, it's an Ouya. You do not see those. Alright, honestly, not much in there. There was a freaking laptop in there for $74.99. It was a Windows 8 Asus laptop. So you know that was from a long time ago. It's not even worth $30. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's get out of here. Let's get going. It's 11:15 now. And honestly, when it comes to the whole job aspect over the summer, yeah, I'm willing to accept quite a bit of them just to tell about it and this fun journey that we've been on for the past, 4 months now. But overall, it's opportunity to me. That's how I see it. But the thing that's important, okay, is when it comes to daily streaming, I could actually get that done while I am in the process of filling out applications for a company. And that's another great idea that I've had, that I've been tossing around, and I spoke about earlier. The downside is I can't have Lil and Tiff with me all the time. The upside is that it does get Tiffany used to me being away from the house during the daytime in smaller steps, because when you're DoorDash and Uber Eats, you can return back home at any time you want because it's on whatever you want, if you accept something or not. So there's no commitment, there's no holding you accountable. When you commit to a day job at a school for subbing, yeah, you're committed fully. So that's where I've been in my head. Alright, what can I do to start getting myself used to that for her? Because that separation right there. Target. Let's go and Dolly Parton's chicken dumplings. And we'll go ahead and try that at home. One for me, one for Tiff. Let's do it. Okay, that does not look appetizing on vegetables. There is a point of too much butter. Well, you can get Lucky Charms for $5.29, or you can get just the marshmallows for the same price. Alright, let's go ahead, let's get home, and let's enjoy our lunch. As far as what's coming up, yeah, I definitely like the idea about filling out job applications and streaming for a full day just to get the idea of what it would be like. I think it'd be pretty fun. Grueling, hard, especially in the Florida heat, but it'll be fun. Alright, let's take a breather for a moment and just relax. Alright, here is Dolly Parton's chicken and dumplings. Okay. Well, it's food. It makes hospital food look good. It makes Guy Fieri's food look decent.
Ooh, it's gummy.
I'm not a big fan of the chicken. Over salted. Way too much sodium on that. And the dumpling.
It's gummy.
Ah. And there's like no creaminess to it. It's just... Really?
It's like a soup.
Dolly Parton, stick to what you know. Theme parks and food at your actual theme park. Because really, this freezer section stuff, not cutting it. Oh, and music too. But yeah, freezer at home food, not cutting it. Alright, 147. Let's go get Lil. I think we've hit a new record. 115 on here. Since IRS feels like cooking, let's just go to pizza and let's get a $9 pizza pie. There we go. Done. Alright, let's go in the Pizza Hut and let's get dinner. It's gonna be so weird. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be up at the crack of dawn to go to school. And there were a couple of opportunities that came up for next week. One for a first grade, one for a second grade classroom. The only issue, Lily with her schooling, so I have to wait until we have bus transportation. That's the downside. Alright, let's go ahead, let's get our pizza. Without a word even mentioned, they know who I am and they just give me my pizza. Let's go. I let you have the keys and shut the trunk. That could have ended very, very badly.
Because that's happened before.
Yes.
I've lost the keys in the trunk.
Alright, it is now 6 o'clock and it is time to end the day. Thank you guys so much for being with. I hope you had a great day. And honestly, when I was thinking about the whole other job part, it was more about what to do over the summer until school resumes kind of deal. That was kind of the main issue. But once school resumes, yeah, I may just want to do this full time.
Like and subscribe.
While I'm going ahead and getting my subject mastery exam done. But for now, thank you guys so much. I hope you have a good night, and I will see you guys later.
But I know